up YouTube? My name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. I'm back from the holidays. It was lovely. I'm brown and everything. Look, I've got white bits which I would show you, but you're not allowed to on YouTube. So you just have to use your imagination. Actually, don't do that, that'd be nasty. I need to get this sorted. Today is Saturday. We got back from holiday last Saturday. Still no videos because PC World are still cocking about with laptops, although it does sound like we've now got a resolution, and I'm hoping by Wednesday I've got me another laptop, but more of that later on, and there will be more of that later on. In the meanwhile, I need to get this done. I've got this little fabrication table that I made years ago, and it served me well. It's not flat, it's not big enough, it needs to change. Oh, hello. This is what I'm doing. I just need to get it out of the way. Steve-O is down tomorrow. I have been on the phone with him. He is absolutely, definitely coming down tomorrow because I need to get all this stuff gone. I need to get this stuff made and shoved in there, that gone as well. So I've got some room to work on this. But once I get rid of his engine and his tank and his wheel and his frame and his swing arm and God knows what else, I can have it ASBO. So this is a bit of a priority. I did have a plan and I ordered some steels for that plan. Then I changed the plan. It happens. But pretty much all this is going to get reused for various bits and pieces. So I've got another, down here I've got, it's just mild steel box tubing. I've got another length of this because there's two stuck on here, but there isn't enough just to have that off and make full legs because I want it pretty much at the same height as the rest of my bench. So this one is getting cut off. Then I'm going to make full legs for it. We'll brace it up and everything else. We're going to use part of that to put a tray underneath it for all this lot to sit on, because that's quite sturdy stuff. And I've got some hoof and grate casters, and I've got some, not those ones, the bigger ones over there, the jack up feet, so I can stop it rolling about the place. But this is what I'm doing today. Right, let's find an angle grinder. That's that done. All I've done is chop that extra bit off the side. That's going to be a couple of legs, and just clean some of the welds up. I've got a couple of guffs in the side of it just because it was butted up right close together, and then the radius on the corners, that's where the weld went. So to get the slitting saw down in there and get all the way through the weld, you're going to leave a couple of guffs. Eagle-eyed amongst you would have noticed that I don't normally run a guard. Since I've been in the model shop, I'm trying to pick up some good habits. That's one of them. Because you're in a work environment, you have to use the guards and all that sort of stuff anyway. I never used to. I just felt they got in the way and they blocked my vision and all that sort of stuff. But since I've been using them at work, I'm starting to change my mind a little bit, and I have seen some pictures with people with bits of these slitting discs stuck in their head, and I don't want that. So, oh hello, that'll be Steve-O. So yeah, I'm starting to run a guard. I'm not using that, but I'm not chucking it out. That definitely does get in the way. Right, so where's my measure? Right, so what I want is for the top of the fabrication table to come to the underside of this thing here, the top of this. Just that way, if I push one up against the other, I'll have a lip that if I need to push something against whilst I tack it and all that, I'll have something. So from there to there, 900mm. So that is going to be 900. Box section's 80. These are the casters I'm using. Heavy duty jobbies with a bearing in the bottom. I don't think any of them break. Don't really care. Here's Mr. Man in his van. He waves at me now as well. So that is 90mm. 90. There'll be a 3mm bit of plate on the bottom of the leg. So what's that? 900 minus 727 is going to be the length of it. Actually, oh you cow. Right, I was going to put a plate on the bottom of the legs, bolt through into these. I ain't doing that anymore because these bolt holes, the centres, are 80mm apart, which is exactly the same size as my legs is going to be. So they're just going to get welded on. They ain't going to be coming off anyway. Jack up feet I'm going to sort out later on. I know I'm going to do it, I just need to get the stuff to do it, but it's more important that I get the bench up and on its feet, or its wheels, and out of the way, so I've got a bit more space in here. So they will probably follow. Right, bandsaw. Right, I've got me a set of rollers, and they're useless. I got this just to support any material that's long that I've got going through the bandsaw. That's the cutting height. That's the height of the roller. Now you need to shorten that up. Actually, I'm probably going to raise this up. I hate this. It's made out of biscuit tins. And you've got wheels on it, but as soon as you lift it up to move it around, the weight of it just buckles it. And then the wheels is no good anyway, so you just end up having to pick the bloody thing up and move it. So I'm probably going to make a new stand for this. All this cast bit on top, that will just come off. I'll make another stand that's higher, so that is of use. And I want to do like a proper platform for use when this is vertical. Like quite probably, I don't know, 400 by 400, something like that. Just so I can rest work on top of it, and I can cut slots into it, so I can, track stuff and make little holders for it and all that sort of stuff, so I can get stuff square. They got them at work, they do work a treat, but this little hobby jobby, he's really not up to it, so he needs to change as well. That's another thing to put on the list. Right, how am I going to do this now? What have I got that's the right height? Right, that's that lot done. We've got the sit down. Right, so we've got the braces in. Basically there is going to be some weight stuck on that at some point. Can't think what that's going to be, but the frame around the outside isn't dead flush with the sheet material that's in the middle. The sheet material stepped in about 5mm. It would have been nice if it was all dead flat, but you know, it is what it is. I'm just working with what I've got. So where the frame is sitting on the pallet, the sheet material kind of bows just a little bit, and there is I will get a picture actually, I'll take one in a sec. But you'll see that there's a little bit of daylight between the braces and the sheet metal work, and that's just because of this lip on the edge. But what we'll do is, once we get the legs on and I've braced all the bottom up so they ain't going to go anywhere, we'll flip it up so it's on its wheels, and I've got some big old sort of long reach C-clamps. We just clamp all the material down to those braces, and I'll put like little 1-inch welds or something in there just to keep it all straight and true. It's never going to be perfect, never. But it's going to be a hell of a lot flatter than the other one that I've got, which will be blinding. Right, what's next? I haven't got enough steel to do the bracing. Bugger. How much am I going to need? I've got one. So that'll go down one length. So I need 2 ends and another. So it's another 2 lengths of that then, basically, isn't it? Right. Note to self. Add up properly. Yeah, I'll just go pick some up on Monday, that'll be fine. I could put the wheels on the legs. It's probably easier to do it now actually, I would think. Yeah, okay. Right, I'm back. I'm not sure how much you would have seen of the last little bit, but I stuck the legs on. The only trouble is that the battery on the phone died, so I'm not sure how much of this you're all going to see. But all 4 legs is on. It's all seam welded all the way around onto the frame, and the legs overhang both bits on the top frame, if that makes sense. So where they come up like that, the leg kind of overlaps the 2 joints sort of thing. But anyway, they're on and they're all square. Plus I've got all the tops on, say tops, it's upside down at the minute, isn't it? But I've got all the feet on as well. So we're pretty much there. One trick though I will give you. I need something to, right. Right, I'm not one for teaching anybody anything, but I will give you a little tip. Ooh. So my bandsaw actually cuts things quite nice and square. There is still a little bit of, it's not quite right, but it is pretty bloody close, it has to be said. However, when I'm getting the legs on, you want them to be straight. You don't want them to be sort of, over at an angle or anything else. Because if it starts looking like a giraffe at a watering hole, it just ain't going to look good. It ain't going to be very strong either. So a little trick for you that I do just to try and get stuff square. Say we've got a frame here. That's the leg that's going on it. If you then get a square and go off 2 sides to it. So stick your square up to it like this, and you will probably see a little bit of daylight at either the top or the bottom. That tells you which way it wants to go. If this is massively exaggerated, but if it's looking like this with a massive gap at the bottom, obviously the leg's not square and it wants to go that way to try and correct it. Same thing on that angle. So what you'll do is, if you check on 2 adjoining faces, you'll find out which way the leg is actually going. Yeah. So let's say, for arguments, again, this is massively exaggerated, but it's basically towards you. So this back corner here is off the ground, okay? You can check on that face, you see it needs to go that way. You can check on that face, see it needs to go this way, all right? So this one here is going to be the longest corner, if that makes sense, the back one. So that's the one that you tack first, all right? And there is reasoning behind all that. Even though you've got a tack on it, you will still be able to move it around a little bit and get stuff squared up. So if you put a tack on whatever is the longest corner, which would actually be on the face of, you know, on the frame, there wouldn't be a gap down here. That's just me leaning it over. I'm not explaining this very well at all. But the longest corner, i.e. the corner to the outside, is the one that you tack first, because then you can move it back and you can move it across that way as well. If you tack any of these front ones, yeah, then because this one is hard down onto the thing you're trying to weld it to, you won't be able to move it back. I hope that makes sense. I didn't explain it very well at all. But whichever is your longest corner, that's the one that you tack first, and then move it back into one plane. Yeah, so you've now got one of them, one of these sides square and level, and then you can tack that. So then, but do it on an adjacent corner, because then you can still rock it that way, if that makes sense. And then once you rock it that way and get the other one sorted, then you can put your last two tacks in. That's the way I do it. It just works. And like each time you put a tack down, check and see if it's square, because if it ain't, you can just wiggle it and break the tacks off and have another go. That's how I do it anyway. That's the worst explanation. This is why I don't teach people anything. Right, it is now 9:25 and Steve-O is rocking up today. He should be here any minute, because I told him 9:30. The only thing I want to do now on this, I think, is put some gussets in the corner. We're probably all right as it is, but then the whole thing needs to get flipped over and stuck on its wheels and squirreled out the way so we can get other stuff out. So that's what the plan is. So I'm going to get some tube, put some 45s on it, and I'm going to need 8 of them. So I need to crack on, because we need to be leaving here at least by, what, 11:30, I'm guessing? Right. Let me get the bandsaw set up again. Will that do? Yes. Right, so, ordinarily on a workbench like this, you'd have rails that go between there and there, all the way around the bottom. I don't really want to do that, because space in it is at a premium. One thing I do hate about that little bench that I did before is that you can't get your knees underneath it when you're working at it. You know, if you put a stool next to the bench to do some welding and whatnot, you want to be in legs underneath the bench, so it's like sitting at a desk whilst you're doing the welding, because then you're not leaning and all that sort of stuff. But I don't want to have a rail around the bottom, because I want to be able to squirrel stuff underneath it as well. What I'm probably going to end up do is chop down that original one, just so it's like a trolley just for the welders that holds the bottles on it as well, because that way I can wheel it around the workshop. You know, if I need to take it over there and do something on the bike whilst it's on the lift, or, you know, do something on the fab table which is going to be located up here, I can just wheel out my welders and have at it, sort of thing. So I can't have a rail all around the bottom, so all I'm going to do is gusset it. I've got some of this stuff which is inch and, I don't know, half. I don't know, it looks about 40, I don't know. But anyway, all I'm going to do is put a 45 degree on it, and I'm going to stick it in like that. So this will be 45, that will be 45. Stick it on there and weld it. It's just going to offer a bit more support to all these corners, and it will come sort of halfway down the leg, so it's going to be strong enough. And we do that on two sides like this, so I get my triangles, and I can still get my knees underneath it, and I can still push stuff underneath it, and everything's happy. So that's what I'm doing. Right, Let's get this sorted. Look who's back!
Hello, folks.
It's a wide angle day. He's got all his nice stuff on just because there's heavy lifting to do. So
I shall be doing the bossy bit.
no, you won't. You'll
a bit this way, a bit that way.
No, you won't. You'll be blowing out your arse by the time this is.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So we're kind of pushed for time. We've got about an hour left to get all this stuff done. So I need to get these welded in. Just cut these up. Put a 45 on them, top and bottom. So they're going to go in like that. 2 in each corner. Then the easy bit, we flip it over and get it out of the way, so we can move all your stuff out. Because it's dotted about all over the place, and walking past this thing with big heavy stuff ain't gonna be easy. So let's get the welder fired up. I'll get that done, and then we can have a brew and a natter.
Yes.
That'd be good, wouldn't it?
It will.
We ain't done that in ages.
Not in the shop.
Right. Right, so this is the easy bit then.
Oh, look at that. That's easy. Right, now what? Leave it there?
Right, you get that, Ed.
Which way are we turning?
Let's just get it out first. We'll worry about that later.
Right, it's about to come off. Right.
Fucking hell, you could fucking fabricate a battleship.
Shh, with the swearing.
Sorry, but it's heavy.
Right, so if we flip it that way.
Oh.
This is going to be the fun bit.
Right.
Swing this end round. Don't need them.
So are we all going to go on one side, or are we going to literally try?
No, we're going to lift it up.
Roll it.
It's still hot. I don't want to just rock it up on its legs and stuff, although it probably don't matter. It probably doesn't matter actually, does it? It probably doesn't matter. Right.
What about if we were to...
Can you lift that end? Yeah. Right.
Which way do you want?
No. You're coming round here.
Oh, well you could...
Because otherwise you just got to rock it on its legs, isn't you? So we're going to lift it.
Yeah.
And you're going to do the flipping bit, right?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go. Awesome!
That wasn't too bad.
No.
Yeah, well,
Got any more we can do?
you need to sit down, don't you? Oh, by the way, everybody, Cameron, everybody, thank you very much, dude.
No worries.
That wasn't as bad as what?
Well, there you see, all these days, heavy lifting, you've been dipping out on, it wasn't that big a deal anyway.
Well, you just...
You're picking the engine up on your own.
Oh, bloody hell.
Well,
That'll do a treat. Cheers, man. Thank you, Ace. How good is that?
It's pucker, mate, isn't it?
I ain't going anywhere. I still need to clamp these down, and I'm going to take, because there's these supports underneath.
Yeah.
That needs to get clamped down, and I'll weld it there and there and there and there. Same on these ones and stuff, but that's it. Stick a vise on the end of it.
Yep. Mate.
It's good, isn't it?
That's going to be bloody perfect, isn't it?
It's big.
Yeah.
And I need to dress all this lot down as well, because I couldn't get to that before.
No.
Right, let's, the kettle is on, right?
Did you switch it on?
No, did you?
No.
Oh, I need to get the kettle on and have a chat.
So we Alec.
That can go down the side. Yes! You're not as red as I thought you was going to be.
What do you mean red?
Well, it's heavy, isn't it? He's good.
It's not actually as heavy as it looks. It's awkward because of the size.
Yeah, I couldn't have done it on my own.
No, but it's not actually that bad, is it?
Cam's good as gold.
Yeah, but once it's lifted up, it was easy just to swap it over, tip it over.
I've still got these jack-up feet. What I'm thinking of doing, I'll do like a... Because I've got some more of that box section.
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to turn up like a top hat spacer with a thread in it.
Yeah.
And set that in a bracket, weld that on the legs, and that way I can just jack it up and get it all level, and it ain't going to wobble, move it back, 'cause it's all on wheels at the minute with no brakes. But that is going to be ideal. Ideal. Job well done.
I'll tell you what, mate. In terms of having something that you can build a frame jig on, that is pretty much
it's nice and
bang
flat.
On, isn't it?
It's nice and flat too.
It is.
And I can get underneath it, which is cool. So anyway, main reason Steve-O's here today is one, to help me obviously shifting that lot. But then we've also, the lifting's not over yet. All GIXIT stuff needs to go. Basically, we got to the point where you've all been following GIXIT and chipping in and everything else, but Steve-O's got some stuff going on. Don't need to go into what. It's just life stuff. And now it's not the right time to be doing GIXIT. So we're going to take all the bits and pieces that has got GIXIT on it, apart from the exhaust, because I'm having that.
I'm still not happy about that.
There you are. I want to see what it sounds like. And that's pretty much going to be the exhaust. If it works, which I need to test, that's basically what's going to go on all the bikes.
It does look good though.
So, but we're going to load all GIXIT stuff back into the van and take it back to Bridgewater, and he's going to stash it in his gaff. Yeah.
Because you need the space. And at the end of the day, I say the discussions that we've had, obviously the Bandit wiring wasn't maybe quite as fresh as you were hoping.
It was horrible. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Have you seen that bit there? There's a plug and a connector, and then just next to it, it's been inline crimp. This black one here, look. So how'd you take that bit of the loom off? It's good, isn't it?
It's nice. There seems to be some a few extra bits that have been added in its
quite a few
life.
It's been, and like if you follow the loom, which I think is dead funny, the colours coming out of one end is different to the colours coming out the other end. It needs doing. So the whole thing's coming apart, as both the main project, and that's what I'm doing until it's finished. Which is going to be cool, because I've only really got space for one project.
And that is it, isn't it?
I know Craig said it's tiny. How he has 5 or 6 bikes on the go at one time, I'll never know.
No, I don't know either.
It's a lot smaller than it looks on the telly, isn't it?
Yes.
A lot smaller.
A lot smaller.
So, there you go.
Yeah, so...
At least you had a shave today.
It's time to, well, sort of.
Well,
it's time to... It's time to sort of... not pack GIXIT away, but I think I need to be at a point where we can just crack on through stuff.
We are packing it away.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It's not going away forever. It's just going to gain dust for a little while.
There's nothing that's going to deteriorate.
No.
And it's going to be stored in a dry shed, a garage, isn't it? So it ain't going to be in harm's way, and we'll just get to it when we get to it.
Yeah.
But we ain't getting to it until that's done.
No.
Because I want to get it done. I want to play on it and make sure everything works on it properly. And then we're going to part company, because that's going to fund the next one.
Yeah.
And so on and so on and so on.
But to be fair as well, in terms of making decisions in times of year...
Was that you or me?
That was you.
All right.
In terms of making a decision in time of year, if you're going to do it, now's the time of year to crack on with it, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. I think I know what I want to do, though. I think I know.
And you've got a shiny new fabrication table.
I've still got to get the jack up feet.
That looks like it's come.
Still got to weld the struts on it, but that's gold. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop down the original one, and just turn it into a welding trolley. Because then I can stick my welders and my bottles on it, and then I can have that out. And if I need to wheel it down here and do stuff, I can do. I'm just going to make it smaller.
You should be able.
I'll just chop the side out and squish it in and have the top off, and jobs are good.
You probably be able to fit it underneath the new one.
Well, that's the idea, because that's probably going to stick out like that, and I'll just shove the welding trolley underneath it. It's going to work. It's going to be fine.
It's going to be fine.
When was the last time you was down? It's quite a while, wasn't it?
Quite a while, yeah. Because obviously, partly we went back into COVID and that delayed things again. Then we had a couple of opportunities where I was down in the shop. Then your shift changed.
Loads of stuff is going.
Yeah.
You ain't even seen Brian, have you?
No, Brian is massively impressive. I've got to be honest, and so are the yolks, mate. They look absolutely cracking.
Well,
you don't get a proper sense of it
well,
looking at the photos and bits and pieces.
I reckon it was about a month before I got Brian.
Yeah.
Was when you was down. So he's been down here. He's been pulled apart, rebuilt, painted, blah de blah de blah. I've learned how to use it. I've made a complete set of yokes. I've done. You haven't been down here at all.
I can tell you what it was as well, because you had Brian, and I had seen Brian, but it was in his original state, because you hadn't even put the breaker. You hadn't even put the breakers in.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, Jamie did sound on that one.
Yeah, but no.
It is cool though.
Yeah.
The boys back there are certainly earning their living. With those two, I can do most things, I think. Really, a mill and a lathe. It is cool. I'm loving it. I just need some space to be able to love it a little bit more. That's the trouble. All this stuff all over the bench set. Well, see what I'm probably going to end up doing behind all these curtains and stuff. I've got hundreds of these grey boxes. It's got products and all sorts of stuff in there as well. Quite a lot of them is empty, so I'm going to squish that down a bit, and I'm going to free up that end one, and that's where all the bike stuff is going. Because I want it behind curtains and stuff, so when I'm doing grinding and all that sort of stuff, it don't get all over it.
Yeah.
Because the idea with Asbo is, soon as that's finished off and his jack up feet and all that stuff is done, and I've cut down the welding trolley, which I'll get done at some point anyway. You don't have to happen now, but it'd be nice if it was. Asbo is completely coming apart, and all his bits he's getting stashed behind the curtains. And then we're going to start looking at the frame. I've got some of that square section that the FAB table's made out of. I've got some more of that, and that's looking like a frame jig to me, I reckon.
Why not?
And I can stick it on top of that.
Yep.
I can clamp it down so it ain't going to go anywhere, and I've got somewhere I can work on it then. But I'm still undecided quite what to do with the frame. I hate a breakaway frame, however, to keep it the same dimension so you ain't got loads and loads and loads of space, all the engine mounts and everything else will have to change. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do a complete frame rebuild on this one, or I'm going to set the frame jig up to mimic that one and then chop and change the back end of it and a couple of other bits that I don't like. I don't know yet, I haven't decided.
We had a discussion about you putting a single spar coming over the top.
See, I don't want to do that because the shape of the tank and those tubes that run down the side at the bottom of the tank, that's what makes it Bandit in my head.
Yeah.
You look at that, you just go Bandit, isn't it?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I quite like the idea of keeping it and that trellisy bit at the front, but I don't like the breakaway. But can you imagine trying to get that engine into that frame with removable engine mounts? That'd be horrible, wouldn't it? But the frame ain't staying like that. It all needs dressing up and everything because the welding on it's horrible.
The only benefit of the breakaway is obviously when you unbolt it, you can literally just lift it in and out.
You say just lift, well, you lift the frame off it, don't you?
Yeah, but it has its practicalities, but it's not maybe the prettiest of things.
I don't like them. I might have to live with it on this one, I don't know. But if I've got a frame jig, then at least I can play around with ideas, eh? I reckon that's the way to do it.
Well, if you were to make it solid, how are you going to get the engine? Ain't going to go in, especially with the sump. It's going to be a big challenge. So you're either dropping it on top of it, okay. You're either keeping some sort of breakaway to be able to, or you're going to have to do something where you can drop it from the top.
It's quite the problem, isn't it, really?
It's a bit more complicated than just...
Yeah. Just a bit.
I'm just going to make my own frame. How difficult can it be? How many times have we said that?
I'm going to do one.
Yeah.
I'm going to do one, but the thing is, well, I don't know. I need to play about with that one and see what's doable and what's not, I reckon. But, I don't know, we'll figure it out.
Suzuki probably only spent millions and millions and millions to come up with that design, so
Well,
a bloke in a shed in the UK, what could possibly go wrong?
yeah, but I don't like it.
No. What can possibly go wrong?
Nothing. Well, everything. But we can fix all that. Right, we need to get stuff loaded because it's 11:30. Right?
Right. Chop chop.
Yes, it is another day because I haven't got much time. I'm a very busy boy. It is all basically together. All I've got to do is, where I've got my penetration marks on the top up here, I'll just DA that down, which is all good. The jack up feet is on, that all works. They're tough as houses as well. It's welded on all four sides. Poured a load of heat into it as well, so you know they're easily going to be able to take the weight of this, but it just means I can jack the whole thing up and stop it moving about on its casters, and I can also get it level and true if I need to as well. I'm still chewing over ideas. I'm probably going to put, I've got one of these things, you know, like a power block thing, extension lead, so I'm probably going to stick that on the inside lip there, sort of underneath it, just because that way if I'm using grinders and everything else, no grinding dust is going to get in, because that's basically metal filings. Do you really want to chuck metal filings at an extension lead? Probably not. I have had one go pop in the past, so hiding it up under there is an ideal place because it's all basically sealed down there. I'm also going to get a piece of plate which I can stick on one corner. That way I can put the swivel vise off the old bench on here, just because it is a handy thing to have. Brenda the Bender, she's going to get shifted. She's also going to get upgraded. And I'm thinking of maybe sticking it on one end. I don't know. I'm even toying with the idea of having some little tabs that come up so I can just stick a bandsaw on this as well, because that'll get it up off the floor. It will give it a decent working height, and it's, you know, it's basically, it's out of the way. I'm probably going to put a rail underneath here as well, just because that way I can put, you know, clamp all my clamps and clips and all that sort of stuff, just so it's all together. You know, there's quite a lot I can do with this now. I just need to give it a little bit of time and think it through so I don't cock it up. For anybody's wondering why I was sticking that on top, it's handy to have the jack up feet set to a level so you know exactly where you need to have it. It's just I didn't want to get any weld spatter on the threads because that'll completely cock it up. So stick a bit of alley on top. Job's a good one, but they all work and I'm happy with that. That is going to be cool. I think probably at the weekend, I don't know, I need to clear some space. I need to get rid of all the crap that I don't need to make room for the crap that I do need. So what I am probably going to do, I think I am tempted, and I'm still chewing this one over, but I am tempted to chop off that last bit of bench, just because this could then go in that way, or I could swivel it round and have it in that way and still have room for like the tube bender and the hydraulic press and all that other gubbins sort of, you know, down the side there. I don't know, it's a work in progress. But anyway, that's it. It's not how to make a fabrication table, it's just how I made mine. And I haven't decided how it's going to end up, so, you know, take it as how it's meant basically, but this is going to be handy, dead handy. So that's where I'm leaving it. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. Do hope you're well and staying safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Laters!